So one of the really odd things about my tent is on this side, the fly, which is critical. You have to have one of these, you have to have a fly on your tent. And on this side, it comes down this far and I pull it down tight. Now some tents, they pop out. They come out on an angle, the same angle as the roof. And you would pull your cords on an angle down to some sort of spike system in the ground or maybe tie it to a tree. I come straight down because I'm built on top of pallets and I can just wrap it around some nails that are embedded in the pallets. So on this side, it comes down this far and it allows for my stove pipe to stick out through the fly hole and through the tent hole, the jack there. And so, but on the other side, it's very different. You can see it comes all the way down. This is not normal, but this is how I have it on my tent. You may not see it like this on any other tent. The reason is this fly is built for a 14 by 16 tent. My old tent. This is a 10 by 12 tent. So what I had to do was, there's just so much excess in terms of the width of this, that I was given the ability to just drape this whole thing down on this side, so that way on the other side I can fit through the hole through the fly. And if I tried to make this even, that would not be possible. I wouldn't be able to stick the stove through, the stove pipe. So if I could have it like this on the other side, the whole way down, I would do it. This is extra protection. It's an extra layer of insulation in the winter. There's a little bit of air in between the tent. I'd say this side of the tent is in stellar condition compared to the other side, because the other side of the tent, the actual material, the canvas material on the other side is exposed. This side is so well protected, and this plastic on this tarp, this thing has been outside for a couple of years now, and it is tough as nails. This door is definitely not your average door. You can see there's a big gap there. That gap wasn't that big when I first made the door, I can tell you that. But that gap is nothing. On this side, it's gaping. And I can tell you, it wasn't like that at all when I built the tent. Little cabin tent. I don't even know if this can lock. I could probably stuff it in there and make it work. But up here, this was flush at one point, but not at all now. On this side over here, it's just kind of like the cabin just kind of starting to open up. I think this wall here should be closing in on this door, because this side is definitely a little more flush. And I'm not surprised that the cabin tent is expanding and starting to widen this way a little bit, because it is not built to spec, I can tell you that for sure. So the wall that's holding up the door is a 2x4 here, a 2x4 on top, plywood, and on the inside you can see there's a piece of 2x4 right here and a piece on the bottom. That's all it is. Plywood screwed into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of 2x4. And then those 2x4s, 2 of them, oh more, 3 of them are screwed into part of the frame. The thing is, guys, is that I wanted to make it as basic as possible because I didn't know what I was doing. So I just decided I literally made it up. Like, anybody can do this. I made it up as I went along. I've got this one piece here that's just kind of like stopping this wall from wanting to move. So this is just drilled into the floor. That's it. And then this wall doesn't want to move. It's like solid as a rock. Same on the other side right here. This wall is built the exact same way as the other wall. Just some 2x4s holding it up. against the frame. Now, on the inside, I've done something really weird, but I had no choice. Okay, you can see right here, when I built the walls, I had some 2x4s. I think it was every, what is this, 12? Every 3 feet, I had a piece of 2x4 coming in for the walls vertically. 1, 2, so that's 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, and 3 feet. But when you look at the roof, you'll see, look, this guy here isn't on top of this guy here. And they should be. I know this, they should be. And that was the original plan. That was the plan. Look how far this one is off. So what happened? Well, this is what happened. If I was to put a piece of 2x4 right here, it would be doing what? So when I had to change my plans, like when I put up the tent, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, it's not going to work. I've got a stovepipe there that I got to put through. So I just moved it over. Now, luckily I live in a place where we don't get a lot of snow. So one cool thing you can see here is that the tent comes straight down. These little flaps here, sometimes they fold out and you can put rocks on them, you can put snow on them, and essentially it's a way for stuff to kind of wash away. I have it coming straight down. I built the frame an extra foot high. These walls are 5 feet high, but you have an extra 10 inches of this sod cloth on the bottom here. And I extended the frame an extra 10 inches so that way this would just be able to drape straight down. There is no way anything can get in. There's no rain getting in, there's no wind getting in, nothing that can come in underneath. It is awesome. Like, this is the way to do it. If you're going to set up a tent, if you can extend that sod cloth straight down, and you have, I mean, if you have a floor anyway, you should do it. I think it's the way to go. It's cold again, fall day, only 5 degrees and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature inside the tent. Outside it's considerably colder because the wind is whistling again. So I've got to go gather some firewood. I have some, but not a lot. So I'm just going to go gather for a bit and get myself ready for the cold night ahead. This old tree has fallen down. It's been here for a while and it is dead. I think it's going to burn beautifully. So I'm going to buck it up a bit, and this is how I'm going to start my fire. I'm going to use a lot of these little branches here. They're so dry. They're perfect tinder. So I'm going to make use of this guy right now. I can tell already that it's a bit rotten. Rotten wood burns too. Let's not forget. This really odd stump is making an awesome sawbuck. Just take the tree, lay it on it, holds it in there pretty decently. I'm going to use it just to cut up this tree. And then I'm going to use this, because this is really nice wood. Oh yeah. So there's a bit of ash in there, but whatever. Now when I was here a week ago, I just shoved a bunch of this dead stuff into my stove. It might be a bit damp. I just shoved it in just like that. Oh yeah. And I tell you, it was the fastest my stove ever lit up without using gas. The more the merrier, I say. Okay. Let's see what happens here. I don't know. Some of it might be a bit too wet. Maybe not. Looks like it wants to light. He's lit, folks. He's lit good. Just like that. Get a real breeze going through now. Okay, this should light right away. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to put it on this rock. Okay. Now I'm going to... Oh! That went out. First time ever. I haven't experienced that before. Try it again. And I'm going to make it disappear. There we go. All these dead branches that I'm finding all over the ground are excellent for this fire right now. Look at that. A couple of old pieces of lumber in there that I'm never going to use. Just grabbing stuff off the ground. And this is going to be my supper time fire. this is old lumber that I have lying around here, that I've had lying around for a few years, that I use with my first tent. There's some holes in here, and that's where I would put the, where else? There's a hole right there too. And that's where I would put the legs from the metal frame that I had in my old tent. I would position them in here. This was lying on the ground, and it would make sure that the legs wouldn't move around. And it kept everything kind of in place. Right now, this stuff is ready for my stove tonight. That's what's gonna happen. I'm probably the only person in the world who's cutting up lumber and burning it. Oh. Oh, that's just gonna burn like a champion. I can tell you guys right now, bringing this sawbuck to my camp is the greatest idea ever. It is saving me a lot of time. This saw is fast now. It's a lot easier than trying to do it on the ground. I'm gonna throw this in the fire right now. Oh, it's good wood. A little bit of chicken spice, maybe a lot. Forgot a plate. Surprise, surprise. Huh. Oh yeah. Oh, yes. This is gonna be good. 9 o'clock supper. Oh. Wow. Yes. Oh. Apple on a chicken burger is amazing. Here goes the first bite. Wow, that's cooked. Mmm. Mmm. With a little side of sour cream and onion chips. Amazing. Oh man. Wow. Oh. So I'm just about ready to tuck in to sleep here. You can see I've got the The bed is already made. I've got the propane lantern going. It's just nice in here, really nice. And this is my wood for the night right here. Plenty of wood. I'm just gonna throw all that stuff in whole, and it'll burn really slowly, just down to a bed of coals. I'm pretty sure it won't be a raging, flaming stove tonight. Anyway, this is the night. It's dark. Time for sleep. So it was an interesting night last night. I decided to go to bed at 11:30, which is early for me, and I fell asleep almost right away. And normally out here I'm awake till about 1 in the morning. I turn off the camera and then I just sit back, have a nightcap, eat some chips, some chocolate, listen to music. But last night I just didn't really have the energy for that. I just wanted to go to sleep. So I fell asleep early, and then at 5:30 I heard the rain pouring out there. And my camera was out getting a time lapse. And as you saw in the time lapse, things really started to get wet at one point. I think it's just dew that you're seeing hit the lens there, and some drizzle. And so when I heard the rain coming at 5:30, I knew I had to run out because it was coming down pretty hard and grab the camera. So now I don't sleep with clothes on. I sleep naked. So unless it's like really cold, and then I'll sleep with layers on. So I jump out of my bed and I run over to this chair that I'm sitting on right now, and this t-shirt, I just grab it in my hand, and then I just open the door and I run out in the nude to find my camera standing out on a rock out there getting a time lapse. And I didn't do anything with the t-shirt. I just had it in my hand and I'm just like running out there. I didn't put it on. It was just like a really weird thing. It was like I just needed something to go with me, to protect me. And I just grabbed a t-shirt and ran with it in my hand, grabbed the camera, came back in, and saved the camera, that's for sure, because it was pouring out. Anyway, at that point, I knew the stove was good. I knew the stove was good. It was just had a steady heat. I could hear it cracking. And I decided to start another little time lapse from within the tent, just to show like the light coming in through the tent. At that point, I put my head back down on my pillow made of my hoodie and my Big Bill wool jacket, and I slept for 2.5 hours out like a light. This is my pee bucket right here. I don't like leaving the tent when it's cold and dark. Just use a pee bucket. This isn't my dedicated pee bucket. I have one that I bring up here in the winter that is made for this sort of stuff. But right now it's just a galvanized steel pail that I'm using. beautiful. Nope, just doesn't want to catch. There we go. Well, folks, that's going to be it for me today. I've got to get home this afternoon. So it was just another one of those beautiful overnighters. I am loving coming here in the summertime and in the fall right now. I was really apprehensive at first. I was worried about the bears. And I still am. I'm still, you know, I try to keep on edge as much as possible. So that way if something does appear, a bear, I'm prepared. But for the most part, I am relaxed out here. It just feels like home to me. I love this place. I love it so much. And coming out here 3 times now in the last month and a half has really taught me a lot about myself. To be honest, I'm just getting over those little fears. And I'm also just really loving being out in the wilderness. I'm really learning how to canoe now. I'm starting to get all the paddling down, what I need to do to go from here to there, this direction, that direction, and it's fulfilling. It's very fulfilling. I'm on Instagram, a J in the Woods on Instagram, and hey, look, if you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button. Hit like if you like it, as I like to say. Anyway, I'm hoping to be back in October, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. Keep expectations low, but if I can be back within the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'll feel really good about this, because I expect by mid-late November, I'll be out here on my snowmobile and really ramping it up. So anyway, yeah, this has been a blast. I love being out here. Fall time at the tent is amazing. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys really soon.